All right. We got to have some peeps in the house.
His house. I'm
going to keep that down there so we can keep an eye on this and see our bit rate. Bit rate looks juicy. Juicy and good. Where is, okay, waiting for new messages. Hello, Junkie.
Hi, Shannon. Hi, Stephanie. Sandy. Hi, Ma. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Beth. Hey, Dan Baker.
Dr. Daniel Baker, PhD, the inventor of the
Nelson,
Mothra
Dawn,
virus.
Monty. Trevor Haney, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Auntie Moranci, you look great today. Get it, girl. Get back to is that kickboxing? Is that bag? What is that you're doing? You looked awesome.
Oop, hold on. Shoot. Quit.
Julie V, press hello.
Hold on, guys. I left some apps running. The kids with their apps these days. It's a lot of things going on with the stuff and the things. All right,
stuff and the things and the
here
things
we go.
want.
Let us get back to main camera and hello, everyone. Welcome to Sigler in Place.
Hi, guys. How are ya?
There's some birthdays in the house. There's all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, we also have
a little brightness. Here we go.
A little brightness. Yeah, you look good.
Oh yeah.
You look good.
We had to shut the shades from the sunlight that is piped in from the above ground because we're in the underground layer.
Well, sure.
Because with just this reflected sunlight, I look like a ghost with eyes. Not a good look. Not a good look, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome everyone. We now have 100.
Amy Reed, Jude Stenson. Nice to see you, family.
We got a show for you people today.
Shannon, I saw you out there.
We have
Maria, I see you out there.
134 on the Facebook, 10 on YouTube, welcome, and 5 on Twitch. Twitch is the wave of the future. I'm sure
El
you've heard of it.
Diablo, Big Papa Haney. So
Big
good
Papa,
to see you in the house.
So many people. Let me get the chat up here so I can stay away at it. Dan Williams, of course, you can't stay at home tonight. Hello from South Carolina again.
Just watch tomorrow, though, because this is a very
tomorrow.
special episode. You might want to get the news.
Oh, let's do a camera switch. 3, 2, 1. A very special episode of Sigler in Place. Tonight, Alex Keaton's coke habit has gotten the better of him, and he's started to steal from Mallory's clothing and sell it on eBay.
None of that is true. There was no eBay back in the day.
Mom and Dad,
none of it.
Mallory
This
Keaton.
is not the specialness of this episode.
Mr. and Mrs. Keaton. Who played Ma Keaton?
Is it Meredith Baxter?
Meredith
Burney?
Baxter Burney.
Who I think is just Meredith Baxter now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So she married a.
She was married to David Burney.
Oh,
and then they got divorced. And
trying to make a wedding joke. It didn't work out.
No,
it didn't work out
because it was not a very happy breakup from the vague things I remember from Us magazine when I was a teenager.
All right, here we go. So let's go over what we're going to go over, ladies and gentlemen. We are celebrating a real American genius today, Lawnchair Larry. This is a very special episode. We are going to tell you a story tonight after our feature on Lawnchair Larry, a story that you've never heard because it was only written this Sunday. Yeah. That is correct. A brand new story. I do think if you are a fan of Siglerism, you want to do your darndest to stick around for it. And if you have to get off quickly, which happens, phrasing, then you're going to want to come back and watch this at your earliest convenience. Let me see them glasses. Let me see those emojis, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers to you all.
Cheers to you guys.
Here we go. Alex P. Keaton, damn it.
What does it look like? 154 people in the Facebook.
Facebook's rocking.
Oh, yeah, we got
13 on the YouTubes.
Periscope online, coming up slow, though.
Periscope doesn't show us who's on. We see the chats.
Hey, Howard. Thanks for joining on Twitch today.
Sup, Noisy. Sup, Crutches. What's that?
Which is the camera?
We're looking at this camera right now.
Thank you.
It's a little bit confusing. We're working on it. We're still working on getting our pattern down.
I got in my head, I can't help it, Lizzo's. I toss my hair back, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
Feeling good as hell. I learned to play that on bass. It's simple. It's super fun. I love it. Well, we might do it for you Tuesday. A little live rendition of Good as Hell on the bass. Ladies and gentlemen, let us not forget. Oops, I got to get the right stuff up here. The right stuff. We have to inform you that we have a podcast where we release unabridged fiction episodes every gosh darn Sunday and have for the past 15 years. The world's longest running fiction podcast, yours truly. What has four thumbs in podcast? You have to do this right here. You got pointed at stuff. 4 thumbs in podcast, these two people right here. And you can sign up.
JC Hutchins, nice to see you.
Hutch in the house. Hutch
looks
in his
like
house.
Maybe Irish Obsession. You seem to be the only one so far saying that you're having trouble hearing. So maybe make sure
that volume is not in your end. I think everybody is, Restream IO says, congratulations, you received 100 messages today with Restream chat.
we got spam.
Yep. None of our spammers seem to be from the States or an English-speaking country.
Hey, Gordy, nice to see you.
Gordy, what's
Beth,
up?
good to see you. Angie, of course, I already said hello to you.
Switch
Now that we've got a
back
lot
to
more
main.
people in the chat, I will say we got a couple things. We're going to talk about live stream. We're going to talk about Lawnchair Larry shortly.
The best guy, just the best.
But we also have a couple of birthdays. We have Trevor Haney's birthday, so we're pretty close. June 28th, so pretty close. And then I'm not sure that Carol Donahue has joined, but Carol Donahue is a animal rescuer, and she has one tiny little kitten who she rescued, the mom, whose name is Luna, and all but one, this little tiny little three-legged cat named Eclipse has passed, but Eclipse seems like a fighter, so we're going to give him a little love tonight too.
Okay. We of course now need to talk about our podcast sponsor. Someday we're actually going to have podcast sponsors.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have sponsors that pay us money. Not right now. Right now, our sponsors are all about people that we pay money to. And if you are so inclined, you can pay money to them too. Tell them about our nonprofit.
I will, but first I want to say, Todd Taylor, nice to see you out there. I knew you weren't going to be able to necessarily be able to join because you're all the way in Japan. And also Dennis Garcia, happy belated birthday to you. I love all the June babies, early July babies. We are going to talk about our sponsor before we get into the Lawnchair Larry thing. Like I said on Tuesday, this week's charity sponsor is Pop Culture Classroom. Pop Culture Classroom can be found at popcultureclassroom.org, and they're an organization that uses alternative books, alternative graphic novels, things like that, pop culture things to get folks who are high intensity. They want to read, but they're not into Nathaniel Hawthorne, and they're just not going to get it, and they're not doing well with Shakespeare and all that jazz. Maybe they'll read Sandman and get into Sandman, and they can go at it from a piece of culture that is theirs and they understand. I understand comic books. I understand graphic novels. I understand the DC universe. I understand those things. And I'm not saying those are specifically what Pop Culture Classroom uses, but it's this great approach where educators are using tools that maybe some readers and some students are not necessarily thriving using the traditional ones, to use pop culture ones to get them to a higher reading level and a higher understanding
accessible
level. Yeah. It's what they say on their website, as you can see, scroll back up, is the Pop Culture Classroom is working to legitimize and advocate for teaching of pop culture literacies in the 21st century classrooms. And I got to tell you, I know a couple of now they're fully grown adults, but when they were younger, they were not all that into all the things you quote unquote have to read, but totally got into Harry Potter and graphic novels and things like that. And that for one of my nephews literally changed everything for him, that he could talk fluently to a grown-up about Harry Potter. Opened up a big wide world for him. So we love Pop Culture Classroom. If you are an educator, if you have kids at home, if you're terrified of what you're going to do when you get back into school at the beginning of next summer, or at the end of this summer, I guess, take a look and see if that helps.
And this is what we've kind of gone after when we made, if you guys are old enough junkies, the Rookie used to have a lot of foul language in. The first time we podcast The Rookie, it had a lot of cursing, particularly John Tweedy had some notable lines. And then we submitted it as an app to the App Store back in the day. It got vetoed, like they blocked it because of the language, which was weird because you could buy 50 Cent's first album and watch Rosemary's Baby, straight on devil rape. That was okay in the App Store, but you couldn't read The Rookie that just had some cursing in it. We went to raise a big stink about it, and somebody from the App Store reached out to us, the person who was running at the time, and she had been a grade school teacher, junior high teacher, and she said, before you raise a stink, you should realize that this is the kind of teaching tool that we don't have. There's a lot of kids who don't like wizards and don't like vampires, but they are more athletically inclined or hardcore sci-fi inclined people. and this might turn them on to reading. You should consider taking all the swearing out of it. And A and I talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was actually right when we first met, actually.
Was it?
Yep.
And I had talked to
You
my
had already
brother.
done, yeah, I was going to say, you'd already pretty much made the decision, and that was one of the first conversations we ever had. Also, because I'm going to go back to destroying spammers, I'll say, Pons Mental, I see you in the chat room. Danielle Watson, one of my oldest friends on the planet. Stick around. Stick around.
Yeah, we got fun stuff today, guys. Super fun stuff. Super ooper duper fun stuff. Where are we at on our script? Oh, seriously, it's a very special episode. Alex Keaton, stop sniffing the Coke. So that is, and of course, let's see, that is our switch sponsor to Second Monitor. We're trying to follow this. Back to Maine, back to new books. And I know some of you weren't here on Tuesday, so I want to make sure that you know, and by you, I mean you, we have...
Hey, boss. Hey, Stephanie Savinkoff. Nice to see you guys.
Sigler books are out. They're not full novels. Of course, Mount Fitzroy's coming very soon. Pre-orders will begin very soon. We still can't tell you who the publisher is, and we can't tell you when it will be available because we don't know the latter. We know the former, but they threatened my reproductive regions if I was to talk, and I like my reproductive regions, so I'm keeping that clam taster zipped. These three, this dystopian triptych edited by John Joseph Adams. You can go to scottsigler.com/library. There are the links to the books right there. And there are 3 short stories that all are, it's part of a trilogy. Every one of the short stories in this collection is in 3 parts. You get part 1 of the short story in Ignorance of Strength. You get part 2 in Burn the Ashes. And you get part 3 in Or Else Light. So it's a really cool concept that John Joseph Adams has come up with.
Pretty.
The covers, so gorgeous. The covers are just, oh my God.
They're
these covers
ridiculously pretty. John Joseph Adams is so good at his job.
Spectacular.
We work with several anthologists, creators, I'm not sure, editors.
Yes.
And John Joseph Adams is among the best. He's super easy to work with. Brian Thomas Schmidt, you've seen in this chat before. He's also terrific to work with. So, yeah.
I'm loving that people in the chat room are kind of fanboying and fangirling out that J.C. Hutchins is in the house.
I know. I mean, I
so
fangirl out too.
The author of the Seventh Son series, J.C. Hutchins, and the co-author of The Killer. Although we have to talk about this. We may be renaming, not tonight, but we might be renaming The Killer. It's still going to be about 120,000 word. It's called a novella to fit into our marketing plan, but it's a novel. And J.C. Hutchins and I are creating that. And Hutch's characters are double chef's kiss. They're so great.
They are.
It's always great to work with another writer who creates a character that I would have never come up with. And then you get into the moldy part where we kind of work together. This is how I make clay
part.
Or milk cows. I'm not sure which. And all of you are going to say something dirty. Leave it at home. Let's move on. So that's our new books. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk about Lawnchair Larry.
As y'all all know, I sometimes struggle with what the event of the day is. And that's why we've started to ask for shout outs for like Eclipse. And I see that, Carol, you are in the chat room. So we are sending all of our love to you for being such a terrific rescuing human, and also to Eclipse and Luna, and hoping that Eclipse makes it because I know he's a fighter and I know he's struggling, but I think he's got a lot of love behind him with you. So I think that's going to be great.
So we've got some big news, Siglerism news, coming up at the end of this cast. We're going to get to it right after we talk about our boy, Mahome Slice, Lawnchair Larry.
Oh my goodness, Lawnchair Larry.
He's
a hero and an idiot.
This dude, I'm going to read this straight out of Wikipedia. It's one of the best written Wikipedia articles I've ever heard. And sometimes people like to hear me read, so we're going to give it a whirl. On July 2nd, 1982, Larry Walters made a 45-minute flight in a homemade airship made of ordinary patio chair and 45 helium-filled weather balloons. The aircraft, they use that term loosely, rose to an altitude of 15,000 feet and floated from the point of takeoff in San Pedro, California, into and violating controlled airspace near LAX. During the landing, the aircraft became entangled in power lines, but Walters somehow did not die and was able to safely climb down. The flight attracted worldwide media attention and inspired a later movie. And for all of you old schoolers who remember television in the 80s, we're going to have an awesome video clip coming up for you shortly. We got to talk about Lawrence Richard Larry Walters had often dreamed of flying, but was unable to become a pilot in the United States Air Force because of his poor eyesight, which comes into play in the video we're going to be watching. He first thought of using weather balloons to fly at age 13 after seeing them hanging from the ceiling of a military surplus store. He had a career as an American truck driver. In 1982, he decided to try his flying idea. His intention was to float over the Mojave Desert and then use a pellet gun to burst some of the balloons in order to land. For me, if I'm going to float and fly the desert, is that a good idea?
I mean, out of LA airspace is exactly what you want to do.
Okay. In mid-82, Walters and his girlfriend at the time, who also will show up in the video, Carol Van Dusen, purchased 45 8-foot weather balloons and obtained helium tanks from California Toy Time Balloons. They used a forged requisition from his employer, Film First Studios, saying the balloons were for a television commercial. So already, my man Larry is committing fraud and buying stuff he shouldn't be buying. But man, you know what? You got to chase your dreams. On July 2nd, 82, Walters attached 43 balloons to his lawn chair, filled them with helium.
43 weather
Put
balloons.
on a parachute, good man, and strapped himself into a chair in the backyard of his home in San Pedro. He took a pellet gun, a CB radio, sandwiches, beer.
It's nothing says responsible pilot like a 6-pack of beer.
Nothing says going to 15,000 feet accidentally like a six-pack, like a sixer, and a camera. When his friends cut the cord that tied his lawn chair to his Jeep, Walter's lawn chair rose rapidly to a height about 16,000 feet and was spotted from 2 commercial airliners. Now you have to imagine, if you are an airline pilot and you see this, you have to be crapping kittens. You got to be like, Murray, is that a chair with balloons?
I mean, we have several folks. I don't think any in the chat room now, but you have several friends. Mark Berry is an author, and he's also a pilot. He's an active commercial pilot right now, and he's lovely. And I have to wonder, like, they have so many rules that you have to report it the second you see it. But what do you do? Like, air traffic control. This is United Airlines 6767. And
oh wait, if you're gonna do air traffic control, you have to make the noise. You ready? Air traffic control. We have not been drinking at all. We have not snorted Alex P. Keaton's cocaine either. Over. And this is air traffic control. Go ahead. We see a man that seems to have balloons tied to a lawn chair. And
I believe he's drinking PBR.
And he's knocking back PBRs like the end of days is coming. And it's 15,000 friggin' feet, tower. Larry slowly drifted over Long Beach and crossed the primary approach corridor of Long Beach Airport. How good is that? He could have got hit by a plane. He was in contact with REACT, a citizens band radio monitoring organization, who recorded their conversation. REACT said, "What information do you wish me to tell the airport at this time as to your location and your difficulty?" Larry, the difficulty is, this is an unauthorized balloon launch. And
you think so?
I know I'm in a federal airspace, and I'm sure my ground crew, who are also pounding PBRs. Because if my boy goes up to 15,000 feet in a lawn chair full of balloons, I'm going to get hammered because he's not going to make it back. And then he said, but just call my ground crew and tell them I'm okay. After 45 minutes in the sky, Walters shot several balloons. This is where it gets so good, it's ridiculous. He shot several balloons, taking care not to unbalance the load. Then he accidentally dropped the pellet gun.
This is my favorite part. He dropped his pellet gun. This is the thing that's supposed to save his life. And he accidentally drops it. I can only assume because he's drunk on PBR.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I have shot things with pellet guns while drunk on PBR, and I did drop the gun a couple of times, but I was only at 4 feet elevation. It was easy to get the gun back. He descended slowly until the balloon's dangling cables caught in a power line. At 432 45th Street in Long Beach, the power line broke, causing a 20-minute electricity blackout. He landed unharmed on the ground because that's how these things work. People who do stuff like that somehow come out of it unharmed. So we have honestly, if any of you out there are 80s kids, you're going to just die when you watch this video. Just die. It's so fun. Let me make sure I get it called up.
So you guys, this is 2 minutes long. You want to stay because when we get back, we're going to have the biggest Siglerism.
It's big.
It's pretty big, and it's probably
big like
the
a
biggest
pickle.
For a while. So you want to watch this or go grab another drink or something, but be back in 2 minutes because in 2 minutes and 18 seconds, we're coming back with big news.
2 minutes and 18 seconds, we are coming back with big news. Here we go. Let me switch out. Boom. And now...
Officials say Challenger's first flight is in January. It should be good for 100 flights altogether. On the Challenger, which is about 2,000 pounds lighter than the Columbia, the tiles have been reinforced to better withstand foul weather. Roger?
The country got through its 206th birthday celebration in fairly good shape. The fireworks crowds were down somewhat in Washington and in New York, but St. Louis claimed the nation's biggest gathering, 2 million, along the banks of the Mississippi. There were, of course, foot races and turtle races and balloon races, but there was only one balloon trip like the one Larry Walters of North Hollywood took. Here's David Burrington.
Larry Walters had always dreamed of flying a balloon to a faraway place. So with help from a friend who taped these scenes, he rigged 42 weather balloons to a lawn chair and filled them with helium. Walters hoped to fly across the mountains to the Mojave Desert, staying in touch with a CB radio. Suddenly a cable broke and up he went with one emotion.
Fulfillment. I was on my way.
The first casualty, his glasses. They slipped overboard, leading to this radio transmission with his girlfriend.
Ron, cut him down. You gotta come down if you can't see. Cut him down.
I've got my other glasses. I can see perfectly. Don't worry. You copy, over.
I copy. Are you sure you're okay? There's planes up there. We can hear them. Are you okay?
I'm okay. I'm going through a thin fog layer. Over. My altitude's 1,500 feet. See marine line right now.
So you can see marine land. So you're heading toward... Oh, my God. You're going towards the ocean already.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody down here says to cut it and get down now. Cut your balloons and come down now. Everyone wants you down now.
The balloon reached 16,000 feet, spotted by two astonished airline pilots. But the craft wasn't moving, so after nearly 2 hours, Walters shot out some balloons with a BB gun and came down fast over Long Beach, the only time he was frightened.
I saw were rooftops and power lines. I thought to myself, my God, this is it. You know, please God, you know, don't let me get fried.
Today, Walters said he has no intention of going ballooning again. His first priority now is to sell the rights to his story. David Burrington, NBC News, Los Angeles.
So his first priority is to sell the rights to his story, which he did not wind up selling. He made like a razor commercial, and that was about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now done.
Wait, before you switch back, I will say we tried to tell you guys on Tuesday our big news.
We did.
Nobody
We tried
seemed to know.
We tried to tell you. Few insiders knew what was up. But ladies and gentlemen, we now switch back. The big news of Siglerism is... We got hitched.
We got married, you
we
guys.
We got married on Sunday. And
what?
no, this is not a gag. This is not a joke. We actually did get... We tied the hitchy knot and the other things. So now we're going to have some champagne.
Wait, you guys, I have
people.
proof. Ooh, flowers and everything, you guys.
Hold them up to that camera right there. Look at
Oh,
that.
yeah, look at this.
The
Also,
wedding flowers.
Look at my
The
bar. Wait,
wedding
how do I do
flowers.
this? Look at my borrowed. I can't make it in front of the camera.
Yeah,
there
you got
we go.
it. There it is. That's a
That,
piece of paper or something that
that's
Jen made. Yep.
Yeah, that's a flower made out of book pages. And my good friend Shannon Chevrier, who's in the chat room, made these for her own wedding. And loaned me one of those to carry in my bouquet. It's from Nocturnal, and it actually, this particular flower says Scott Sigler on it, and it also says
goddamn right it does.
like striped in blue or something. So it was also a something blue.
Something borrowed, something blue, phrasing, all kinds of good stuff going on. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we have for you today is, the Siglerism community, the junkies, is a very special group. I know there's a lot of great fandom out there. There's a lot of big-time authors, medium authors, small-time authors, however you want to phrase it, that have very dedicated fan bases. But I, for one, do not think that there are many authors, if any, who has the kind of connection that we all have as creator, business person, and you guys as the readers, because it's not just us to you, it's all of you guys together too. Many of you have been to a Sigler Fest, which we are eminently grateful that you joined us in those, and you guys have participated in the fandom from the very start. Some of you were there when A came on board, because A wasn't there for the beginning of everything. Most of you do not, if you know the Sigler brand, it's Scott and A. It's not just Scott, it's always Scott and A. And we went out and got hitched. I am not pregnant.
Neither am I.
Not yet am I pregnant, but I'm not pregnant. But we just wanted to make sure that those of you who could tune in tonight to this very special episode would get to hear it from the horse's mouth, from the beast's mouth, and from the beauty's mouth. That we are all we're thrilled. We're tickled pink. We're tickled pink you guys could be part of this and announce it. This is like the biggest Siglerin place ever, man, because we've got hitched and whatnot.
We have a handful of forks clinking on the glass. So for a lot of you who weren't even sure if we were dating,
well,
we are no longer dating.
Live smooch on camera. And we have special treats to share with you.
Yeah, so now that we've made the big reveal, there are a couple of people who said they saw ring flashing, but they thought they didn't want to say anything because we hadn't said anything, which is a thing I never thought of. I thought, we share. Yeah, whatever. Oh, yes. Please do love in Denver's voice.
Noisy just pointed out, love. Marriage. Yay, marriage, love. Oops, hold on. I got to cut this gentleman. Why? I have no problem with the nation of Vietnam. I don't know why we have so many Vietnamese scammers in here. They may actually be saying
Tracy says zebra cakes for everyone.
And I'm out.
Speaking of,
I'm out of zebra cakes of all the goddamn things.
So Scott is going to we've got a few things to show you, and I am probably going to do more talking. So I have this for Scott though.
What's that? Oh snap! I got some cake.
Wedding cake.
I got some cake. It's chocolate, and it's got Kraken's colors, and it's got some white frosting inside. And you want some? You want some? You can't have none. You didn't get none. It's all for me. A giant cake can't have no guests over, so I get to eat it myself. Oh my gosh. It's very good. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We put this together for y'all. Hold on. Let's see. Shoot. I had it. Oh, there it is.
You're going to figure it out.
The button that's marked wedding. This, go ahead,
So this is we, in case you guys and you have questions, which I'm sure you do, I'm just going to assume some of them. Please feel free to ask questions. I'm not telling you I'll answer all of them, but you're welcome to ask. This all happened not even a month ago. Just barely a month ago, maybe. We had to move out of the office, which was a very stressful time for both of us. It was also where Scott lived. And so he had a whole bunch during the week that we were moving. He said, we're going to have to talk about serious things whenever. You're making yummy faces. Whenever we're done with this move. And I was like, cool. And I was pretty sure that what he was going to say was like, cool, when this whole coronavirus thing dies down, I dig you, gonna get my own apartment, which made sense to me. And so that was not the conversation we had. The conversation was like, whoop, you lost your flowers.
That's all right.
Oh, well. Was we should maybe get hitched. And so we ordered...
I would like to point this out. Caught A off guard. I have been married before.
True.
And
as had I.
I'm not down on the institution of marriage. And I'm still very close friends with the evil queen, my ex. But got married, and we were a great, super fun couple. Got married. Like with a lot of married couples, things kind of gradually changed. So I had... A and I were dating in secret, because writers are full of secrets. I had said, you know what? I'm totally into you. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to be with you for the rest of my days, but I'm just not, I don't really want to do the marriage thing because I'm petrified things will change and go south again. And eventually A was like, you know what? Cool. I get that. She wasn't crazy about it, I don't think, but she got it. So she had no idea this was coming. She thought I was going to talk about either moving to get my own place or getting, us spending the money to have a new empty set office location. Caught her off guard. And because of the COVIDs, I wanted to do something fancy worthy of, the creative mind and do some really tricked out proposal. But after thinking about it for since beginning of March or so, I was like, yeah, this is clearly not going to happen. Not going to order anything online. Can't do anything big. Let's just knock this bad boy out. Because then we also were cognizant of what if one of us gets the COVIDs and then we're stuck in a hospital. My family's all on the other side of the country. So I said, let's get married. And she was a little bit shocked, a little bit verklempt.
Yeah.
A little bit verklempt.
He's being very nice. He said, I think maybe we should consider getting married. And I did this. and I stared off at the wall for a while, and then I said, super clever.
I enjoyed it because she stopped talking.
I mean,
great.
I sort of, yeah. I mean, come on now. I mean, I feel like maybe we should. I mean, I would consider getting married. Do you want to get married?
No,
I mean,
she already does not remember this correctly.
I mean, I didn't know
like
it
an
was
old
coming.
married couple. We already have different versions of stories. So I got down on one knee. I proposed. I had no ring. No, wait. I'm sorry. Did we have a ring? No, I forget.
No,
we didn't have a ring yet. We got him after. And then she's like, yes. And she was very excited. And then, as A is wont to do, to take control of the situation and manage the situation, and be A, she immediately got down on one knee and proposed to me back.
it's such a lie. I did not get on a knee. You got
did,
no,
baby.
I didn't.
Oh, I guarantee you did.
I did.
Okay. Liquor, the champagne's talking over here. I was like so charmed. I'm like, this is the most baller thing that I've ever seen in my limited experience with wedding proposals. So that is what happened. We're all obviously going to tell two different stories about this for the rest of our days.
Had I known it was coming, which I did not, I might have been more ready to remember. But anyway, so we took this photo a couple of days later.
And
obviously
then-
got masks off of Etsy, which are super
And
cute.
now we're
bridal.
going to bore the living piss out of you. And just like an old 50s couple, we're going to share our slide deck of our wedding. There it is.
So we had a socially distant photographer. I did my own hair and makeup, and we had, and she was terrific. Her name is Melissa. She runs Honeybee Photography on Facebook. If you would like to check her out, she's absolutely lovely, and she was great. She came, and I'm not sure she ever got closer than 10 feet at best to us. And I'm not even kidding you. I'm so glad we're in the little picture-in-picture because her camera lens was like
Big like a pickle.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Real quick, somebody in the chat room just posted, took a knee, you mean the victory formation, and I went to respond to it because I thought it was clever, and I think I deleted it, and I also may have blocked you. So if you watch this after the fact, it was completely accidental.
So this is my favorite photo. This is from our actual ceremony. Dr. Daniel Baker, who is in the chat room right now, officiated virtually from Memphis, and he was on the TV behind you, but because the cameras, the way that the cameras work, what is that, like frame refresh or something?
Flicker, I don't
He's
know.
not quite in there. But this is my favorite. I forget
up.
what this was, but it was some kind of, we were laughing at something in the vows, I think.
Because we finished the vows, we did the whole thing, and we wrote our own vows. And then we got pronounced husband and wife and husband, etc. And we forgot the rings. So we actually closed out the video we were shooting and forgot the rings. We were laughing about that, I believe. Oops.
Jared Miller says he doesn't think he's blocked.
Good, because I can't find your comment, but it was very clever. No, Evan, she will not marry you. She's married to me now.
Yeah.
Which I'm not necessarily opposed if that's
That's
Martians
not legal.
show up.
And two,
What if they're Mormon
it's
Martians?
plenty of work.
Okay.
This one's plenty of work. Yes, Chuck, exactly. So Scott was
Catherine
lovely. He was like, whatever you want, I will do. What I wanted was for you to agree to marry me, which you did. We can wait a long time. We don't have to wait a long time. We can do whatever you want. And it was June already. And my birthday is June 28th, and we now live in the underground bunker is my home, and I owned it exclusively. And so now our business is here, our dogs are here, and Scott was here. And I was in the midst of making a trust so that if I get the COVIDs and something happens to me, this is still their home. And it's interesting because it went from several $1,000s to get all that accomplished to literally $61 to get a license. So
Yes.
there we go.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of people are asking if I'm going to change my name. I am indeed going to be A.B. Sigler.
This A.B. Sigler, and I am Scott Congolia Lipschitz. So nice to meet us both.
That's not legal in California.
Oh, darn
It's
it.
not legal. You can change your name to mine. We can do a combination, or I forget the other thing.
I would like to point out that Martin had a very clever, slightly smart-ass comment. Martin Joseph Evans says, if Scott wrote the vows, what's the word count? And I have to say that is very good. It was pretty short. Because
He was smart. He made himself go first, I said, do you want to go first or last? And he did this. You know what? I'll pay the swear jar. He did this. Fuck, I want to go first. Fuck. Because he was afraid that if he listened to mine, then he wouldn't get through his, I guess. But we did pretty good. We only teared up a little bit.
And Chuck, I don't know if she will be known as Mrs. AFDO. That's probably an anagram that means something bad in Urban Dictionary, and I don't want to look it up, but that's completely up to her. You guys, like Tuesday, we were throwing them rings all over the place. If you want to go back and scan through Tuesday's live stream, we were all about. Hey, show them the final pose you did.
Oh yeah, like for a while, and I'll do this again once we're not picture in picture.
This was the whole thing.
Like he was talking, and the whole time I was like this, and doing this, and several times show him. You like showed yourself something up at the camera.
Oh yeah, there's something going on in the camera up there. Yeah. So
in case anybody is wondering,
thought it was fun.
Scott's wedding ring is made out of Damascus steel, which I think everybody's familiar. Oh, look at this. There's Dr. Daniel Baker, my
PhD.
Love, my good friend.
He took a break from his invention of the Mothra virus, which turns people's butt cheeks into moth wings, in order to do this event. And if you think I'm lying, he's actually working on that research right now.
So Scott's ring is made out of Damascus steel, which is how you make swords.
That's
and,
right.
Meteorite in the middle there. And
let's see if I can get it to focus.
Maybe pull it back a little.
At any rate, it's made of gosh darn dang meteors. It's awesome.
And purchased on Etsy. My ring is a Podpradasha sapphire. It's a lab grown.
Back to me.
Yeah.
There we go. Oops.
Lab grown Podpradasha sapphire, because those are extraordinarily precious, and we're not. What is it? Oligarchs.
We're not oligarchs.
We are not. So this one is lab grown, but it is chemically a Podpradasha sapphire. I love it so much.
Do we want to partake in blood diamonds? Although I will someday write a story called Blood Diamonds, because it's awesome. We got another scammer in here?
We do. We don't want
Hi, Randy Luck. I don't give a goddamn about your medical cannabis, sir. Oh, I forgot something. I have to come back to that. We got a new thing.
Oh, and we have to. There's a couple of pictures you do want to see, so we're going to see that in a second.
Let's go back to. We're just going to do this, and then, you know what? Let's do it right now. Real quick. Text me. We have a new thing going on, ladies and gentlemen.
We do.
This is through the community.com app. We have been blessed with early entry into this, what I think is the next big thing in social media, and it's and fan engagement. And we're not at all the first. There are many, the Jonas Brothers, Gary Vaynerchuk, Alicia Keys, many people have gotten in way before we did. But if you want to send a text to this number, you go into a very small database, and I then can text you back. For example, many people are watching tonight because we posted it in Sigler Junkies, and we were able to send a text to remind people what's going on. So we'll keep people informed of new books, new stuff, streams, etc., things like that. And you may sign up for that text if you so choose.
So we will answer any questions. They don't have to be wedding related. They can be book related. They can be anything related. But we're going to show a couple more photos because we tried. We got married in our living room, socially distant. As you can see, Dr. Dan Baker was our officiant. His enormously gorgeous and lovely wife, Abby, was our witness, and as was his daughter, who I'm going to call the blonde tornado just to be safe, even though she's an adult now.
She's a grown-ass woman now.
I know, but just to be safe. So this is obviously Scott in his Detroit Lions mask.
That's my peanut right
with the Dog of Doom, who was, of course, important and a big part of the ceremony, by which I mean there were several photos, and then she stayed upstairs with her wranglers so that she was not tripping over lights.
Now, this to me, you're not going to like this, but this to me looks like the first 3.5 minutes of a horror movie.
Right.
And
Everything
Predators
seems fine.
up. You can see them. Predators up there.
Yep. But this was our cake. So my bouquet, that big pile of flowers on the left of your screen, is my bouquet. It's made out of sola wood, which is very fragile petals, and also some silk flowers, and also some eucalyptus. And like I said, Shannon Chevery was gracious enough to lend me a nocturnal flower from her bouquet. And this cake was made by Cakes by Katrina here in San Diego, and it is chocolate cake with vanilla icing, because that's orange, and orange chocolate ganache on the top, so it's orange and black and white. And those Funko Pops were also made. They were presented to us at a Siglerfest a few years ago by Shannon Chavarria, and so I thought they would be the perfect cake topper. And then my good friend Kristen sent us nothing but cakes.
Nothing bunt.
And that's what you see
bunt.
there on the right, which was lovely because I am not a big fan of
Delicious.
chocolate, and so I got to have wedding and birthday cake too, which was lovely. And then my good friend, Megan Tinio. Megan worked with me years and years ago when I was still an event planner, and I ran with my good friend Allison. I ran a company called Audacity Events. Now Megan runs a wedding coordination business called Magical Moments by Megan, and I called her to help me get food for dinner, and she just knocked it out of the park. She did a lovely, lovely thing. All that signage, all those flowers, all that stuff, that's all her, and she did it in, I think, 11 days. I had to get one with boas. I had to do one for the junkies. I had to.
Two with boas, I think, in here. This one's for you guys. We had to muscle up. We did a ring walk. I gave a big ring walk up announcement to enter the Pagoda of Death. You guys might, what do people call that?
I don't know.
What is this wooden thing?
It's a gazebo.
It's a Pagoda of Death, but your people may know it as a gazebo.
Rachel Ronan, what a lovely, lovely thing to say.
What'd she
Rachel
say?
just said, Scott, it's the luckiest man in California. I'm not so sure that's true, but I am grateful that he's mine. I'll say that.
Look at this one. Getting ready for her wedding and whatnot. Got her mask on, being cognizant of the science, being cognizant of keeping other people healthy.
Yeah, we actually have, we had 5 people in our house in the underground bunker that day, and we all wore masks, and we all wore masks throughout the process, of course. And we just wanted to make it important, and we're still locked down. We're locked down for the next 2 weeks. We're not going absolutely anywhere until the 11th of July because that's the right thing to do.
And I look pretty cool in this picture, which is unusual for me. But I have some, fortunately, I stayed on brand and had some accidental pictures where I look like a total goof, which we're going to get to very, very shortly. But, sunshine, getting a little sunshine on my cleft chin, got the 2 days growth of beard, whatever. I don't know. But nobody's looking at me. Look at A.
Yeah,
Look at A.
no. I don't have the same trouble smiling that you do. I'm a smiling fool.
This is the boutonniere made of booty. Is that correct?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
That's your boutonniere and our wedding rings and my engagement ring.
I feel like boutonniere is a pirate's butt.
It should. I mean, it should be.
Pirate's butt. What else we got here? There's another shot of the cake. I would like to point out that my Funko Pop also does not smile for the camera. It is something that is just not what we do. And this is, if you look very closely to the bottom of the screen, you'll see the peanut and the pickle. The peanut is on my side. That is the Reese piece, the dog of doom. And the pickle is a very tiny little dog. We lose track of how small these dogs are until we see them in photos. You're like, holy crap, those are little tiny dogs. Jeez, oh, Pete's.
My dear friend Leela Montella Moccasin is in the chat room. I have known Leela for many years. And I did actually go on her honeymoon with her because she and her husband got married in India. And I was there at that wedding, and then we spent another, I think, a week and a half kind of seeing India. And yes, if we can ever go on a honeymoon, I'll get in touch. If you want to come with it, we'll just have a big old party. If we can ever do that.
Trisha, yes, I did marry up. Vaughn, I'm glad you can't smile either. And I also look like a serial killer when I do the smile. What do we got here? Here we go.
So those are our witnesses, the Blonde Tornado and Dr. Abby Peril. And the nice thing about this was we were able to obtain literally at the last moment, the day before the weekend, we were able to obtain a wedding license. We had to drive all the way up to Orange County to get it, but that was fun. And Abby and the Blonde Tornado were willing to be our witnesses, and that's them saying congratulations and that they are signing the license. Thank you so much, Shackneys. I see that it's going by so fast. I just want to tell you guys some, stuff that I can now finally tell you. But yeah, we're super happy. Scott had said to me he had been planning or considering kind of doing a proposal at Siglerfest, and that would have been super joyous to do that together. And if, we ever get to have another Siglerfest, maybe we'll do, maybe Saturday night karaoke will be a reception of sorts.
But I also did say at one point, I'm like, I was thinking about either doing the proposal at Siglerfest in front of the larger Siglerism the family, or maybe even having the wedding at Siglerfest. To which A responded, "That'd be great. Then I can plan a Siglerfest and a wedding all at the same time." I'm glad that didn't go down.
I know. I mean, it's a great idea. It's a really lovely idea, but oh my goodness, that I hardly sleep anyway at Siglerfest.
Tracy says, Scott overkicked his coverage. Excellent football analogy.
Very nicely done,
Tracy. Proud of you. And this is a close-up of the meteor ring, which I believe is probably irradiated. I believe it will probably give me superpowers at some point. The main superpower I've had so far is...
Dana, thank you so much.
...is landing A. So that is a pretty powerful superpower. And here, what do we got next? My goofball pictures are still coming up.
Yeah, he is not happy about smiling ever, but I think he looks very handsome.
Our friend Amy Reed was cracking jokes during this to try and get me to smile for the camera. She did a pretty good job, except the few times where she wasn't cracking a joke, and the camera person was like, "No, just smile," and I did, and Amy was like, "No, don't do that on your own. That looks terrible."
And my favorite thing is Amy and I have known each other years as well. As I mentioned with Leela, we've known each other for a really long time, and I curse all the time. Amy curses really, literally only when it's very, very strategic and important. And yet, when she's trying to get Scott to smile, she tells every poop joke she knows. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what? Where
Poop
did all
jokes
that
work.
come
They're
from?
very funny.
I've known you for 20 years.
Is Leela Montella... Her mom's Mom Montella who made the spaghetti sauce.
Exactly, yeah.
The
Oh,
pizza
Leela,
sauce.
you don't know this, but
my God,
I started in quarantine or lockdown. I started making cast iron pizzas, and I use a recipe that Mom taught me for sauce. And
so
I've been
good.
talking a lot about Mom Montella and how much I miss her.
To be
how
honest,
talented she was as a cook.
I had no intention of ever getting married again until I had that pizza. And then I'm like, no, I gotta lock that up. You know that, Violana, you should have put a ring on it. Well, I wanted it. I'm like, I'm gonna get a cast iron pot for it or pan for it because that's amazing. Obviously, it's pretty easy for me to smile in this picture when my love is giving me a smooch on the temple. A smooch on the temple.
We had this lovely moment where we were kind of trying to figure out what to do and trying to figure out how to plan, and then we finally decided everything. Kimberly Torres, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's an interesting thing to be a pandemic bride where you have to do it all yourself with a little help from Amy, of course. Anyway, so we're finally ready to go, and it's not quite Tuesday. It's Thursday. It's last Thursday. And Courtney Schools, who doesn't seem to be on tonight, which is such a shame. I think it was Courtney, was like, we did that. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. And and she was like, I think A should get a ring. And I had to type in like, you know what? I'm totally happy. It's totally fine. And Dana, I insisted on the Kraken's boa. I love them so much. I first got a Kraken's boa in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on the Ricky Tailgate Tour in 2009. We were with Jennifer Hawthorne and Joshua Meyer, and we went into like a little bodega, and Jennifer bought me this particular, it's orange and black. A lot of times they come with orange and black and gold, or orange and black and white, or orange and black and silver, and she bought me this one, which we are wearing. Because it was the first bit of work that was really hard on us, was to go on the Rookie Tailgate Tour, and we survived it.
It was rough. Now, any of you junkies?
Oh, they're glass tinking.
Oh, glass tinking. No. Any of you junkies who remember the WWF, not the WWE, will see me in this feather boa and know exactly who I was channeling for this. Also, once upon a time, a famous politician in Minnesota. But you know what I'm saying. I don't impress easily, Gorilla Monsoon, and I'm impressed by this bride. I really am. Moving on. There we go. More of the cracking up. As you see, this is love in the time of COVIDs. That is a stool of some kind with a puzzle box on it, which is our elevation tool for the MacBook Pro that we use to stream the ceremony to our family. And Dr. Daniel Baker, whose head is only marginally bigger than that in real life. The TV did shrink it down about 10 pounds. He was right there between us, and he had his camera game down cold. Even though he was looking at a computer of his own, he had taped little names, I think, on the computer or something. So when he talked to A, he turned to A. When he talked to me, he turned to me. It was
he was way better. He was way better at it than we were.
We
were not good at correctly looking at. What we should have been doing is looking at the screen so that it looked good for our family who is watching. But instead, we were looking at the camera, the computer off behind me because that's where he was.
we kept doing this. We're like looking at the screen. We're like looking back to Dan, like as if Dan was there, as if we needed to see him in order to get that going. All right, we got a couple more pictures for you guys. This is where I start to look like an idiot. No one bothered to tell me that somehow my jacket collar had been flipped up.
You were this cool.
And
this
I
is
look
cool
like a marketing douche from Sweden.
No, you just look like a cool
right
80s kid.
I didn't look like a cool 80s kid when I was a kid in the 80s.
I mean, why not enjoy it now?
I don't know. Kickboxing, sport of the future. Heard of it? Here we
I
go.
can see by your face, no.
No, A does not have a sister, Evan. So we got lovely comments. You guys are all so very cool. Let's get through here. And then I love this picture. Here is my bride and my pups and also one pup extra. We got Stella thrown into the mix.
These were our office dogs before we gave up the office. So I felt very, very lucky that I could have Stella also in the picture. And they are rocking their little wedding, their flower girl duties.
Carlo, I agree. That is a douche black jacket look. Rhonda and
a lot of people.
Miami Vice.
Nicole, Stella, exactly.
Beth, Miami
right?
Vice, absolutely. And there's one more great. Nathan Ambrose says, wedding at 5, fighting Cobra Kai at 6. Thank you, all of you. I'm going to put some money in the jar. Thank you, assholes, for reinforcing the fact that I look like an idiot.
They're agreeing that you looked good.
No one told me, like, hey, Scott, your collar's flipped up and you're not 13 anymore. And it's not 1983. Maybe you flip that down and look like a grown-up on your wedding day. But whatever. Whatevs. No, it doesn't bother me. Obviously, I'm fine. It doesn't bother me at all. Another little picture of the flowers outside with my superpowered meteor ring. I'm pretty much hoping.
Gorgeous ring. Yeah.
I'm hoping for teleportation and X-ray vision. Those are the ones I want the most.
From the superpowered ring?
Yeah, superpowered ring.
What if all you get is me?
Well, I already have that superpower.
But I mean, if you don't get anything else, is that okay? Oh,
listen,
look, Martin. Martin's my favorite Sigler guy.
Sigler guy. Our business is always about up-leveling, punching above our weight class. We're always trying for more. So I want 2 more superpowers to go with my superpower right here.
Maria's right. Scott, nobody was there. It's a pandemic.
Okay, you guys, this is as romantic gets. Loving the time of COVID. Where the wedding planner was still there,
and the photographer. Wedding planner and the photographer is both still there.
I couldn't stand it no more, and I had to get me a smooch, even though we had. I would like to point out Kelly McCardle's in the house. He shared a thing with me earlier today, where somebody tweeted. You guys are complaining because wearing a mask makes you look like a foolish idiot. And this gentleman was like, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, so I'm used to wearing things that made me look like a foolish idiot. I was wearing my Detroit Lions COVID mask that my bride-to-be, now my actual bride. Wait, are you still a bride or now are you a wife? How's that work?
Wife.
You're a wife. Yeah. My wife got me. But
when she got it, she was my bride, but
I don't understand the rules. I don't understand the rules. All I know
Anna on Periscope, is that you, Anna Banana? Or is that you, Anna in Seattle?
I can't tell.
Yeah,
wait,
I can't
what?
either.
Anna, yeah, we got hitched. That's what this is all about.
Yep. I think it might be Anna in Seattle. And I think you might be right up next soon, here pretty soon.
Teeny dogs. Again, I know Squeaks is small, but I didn't know how small. She's not even as big as the bouquet. She's a tiny little thing. She's great. Let's see. Another one with the predator or I think it's a giant 10-legged spider that is lurking. You can see it right in the back. It's right above my head. It's part green, part brown. It's in there. It's coming for us.
Yeah. So anyway, we wanted to share a few photos. This is the first time that we're sharing this news publicly. We figured we couldn't share it with everybody, so we figured that we would share it as we could. This is my dear friend Amy Reed, who came over because there's some things, if you get a wedding dress online, 1, you alter it yourself, which I totally did, and 2, you can't do all the fastening in the back and stuff like that. So I had to, thankfully, Amy, who also wrangles the pups, of course.
Adam asked if you can post a link to the ring store, please. So maybe you can do that. It was an Etsy store. And Colby, evil children. We don't know if we're going to have children or adopt children or not have children at all. But if we do have children, they will be very evil.
And Evan, thank you so much. I am very happy. I was also married before, and I had an enormously lovely marriage until it was over. And one of the things I always used to think about was Scott didn't want to get married again. I knew that going in. That was fine. I had watched him date other people, and before we started to date several other people, and that was never in the cards for him, and that was fine. And so me going into it, I was like, okay, that's cool. You know, it's not necessarily what I would have thought. And the thing that made me the most unhappy was I wanted him to be very happy and comfortable as a husband, and that was never going to happen for him. And it had happened for me as a bride, even though that marriage ended. So I'm enormously, enormously lucky that my first husband literally texted me the day I got married or the day after I got married and said, all I've ever wanted is for you to be as happy as you can be. And that's my goal. That's my goal for both of us. That's my goal for all of you guys. That's my goal for my ex. That's my goal for everybody. As happy as you can be.
Gotta, as Brian Setzer said, gotta whoop it up. Whoop it up until you croak. That is what you do.
So
Tina Gonzalez says the junkies are our children, and you are all evil bastages. This is very true.
And this is go back one slide, please. This is the lovely setup that my enormously talented friend Megan at Magical Moments by Megan did. These flowers my parents bought for us for the wedding. They worked directly with her, so I didn't see them coming. And then all of this flatware, all of these dishes, everything, these already exist in our house, and I've legitimately never used them as dinner plates. I've only ever used them as serving plates. And she just did an enormous thing. Green is my favorite color. Green glass is my favorite thing, as you guys can tell now.
She slapped it up. She flipped it.
And she reversed it. She did an enormous job. And she had, I think, 65 minutes to do it. And it's just fantastic.
And Evo, I'm trying to be classy as I'm talking about my very classy wedding with my very classy wife. I'm glad that you are there to drag things down to their normal level, which is the opposite of classy. Here we are with the three little dogs. It's very good. And I think we're coming to the end of this.
This is the road forward.
Hello, 80s douche from a tech conference hailing from Sweden. Now, I say that because I used to work for a tech company. I was marketing for a tech company. And we went to a trade show in Chicago. And what's the big one in Chicago? The big center?
Yes, C2E2?
No, the big place, the facility, where people have the trade shows in Chicago. McCormick?
Okay.
Well, anyways, we go, and the people who pull up next to us are 8 of the most gorgeous human beings I've ever seen, male and female. It's a split crew. And I'm like, those are some good-looking people right next to us. And all of the guys had done, let's go back to Maine real quick. All of the guys had done this whole flip out business. Let's move this. The collar's up and the collar's in. And I'm like, are they priests? What's happening? And it took me like 20 minutes. 20 minutes to figure out that they were that was their fashion statement. That was their fashion statement. Okay.
Oh, Planet Dossie. No. He asked me, and I prefer this. This looks like Scott to me. This is how he feels comfortable, and that looks like Scott to me. And if he's not going to be comfortable on his wedding day, there's no point in getting married. While I appreciate tucking your shirt, he asked me, and I wanted him to look like you.
I got to wear my black jeans, got to wear some boots because this woman understands me, and I was very comfortable and very happy, except that nobody told me I'd flipped up my collar and looked like a douche. That's it. That's my only problem today.
Charles Allen asks, was there smooshed cake? No, there wasn't,
No,
but mostly because we also forgot to exchange rings in our ceremony, so maybe we weren't paying attention. But also, I'm not a big fan of chocolate, so getting the chocolate cake smushed in my face wouldn't have been a good thing.
That's a pretty good picture right there. I don't think there's a giant spider in the background, but at some point, one of these people is going to be mind controlled. I got a feeling.
I mean, I sort of feel like one of us already is.
I think this is.
If you don't know.
I think this is the Crows Have Eyes 4. The open for the Crows Have Eyes 4.
Probably, but I think that means you're the one who's getting mind controlled.
Absolutely.
Sorry about that.
Crows Have Eyes 4. the Crowinator.
Oh, Edward Earl Newton, for us, Smoosh Cake was not a good idea, but this is my favorite. I love this.
This is our last picture.
I have a Squeaky. You can see her leash, her green leash. I have her in my hands too, but she's directly in front of me. And gosh, I think that Melissa, our photographer at Honeybee Photography, did such a good job. Totally socially distanced the whole time. So gracious, so friendly, so like whatever you guys want, I'll try it. And I'm so excited about moving on from here. I'm excited that we got to share this with you guys. We didn't have a ton of time to pull it all together, so I'm grateful for you guys being excited for us now. I wish we could have figured it out to bring everybody who would have liked to be there, but that is not how the pandemic works.
So we are going to finish this up. I don't think we're going to take too many questions right now. We've done our second hour of live television week. We do this every day. That starts with a T. We're going to continue to do it twice a week until the COVIDs are whooped up and under control, probably bitten by a mind-controlling 10-legged spider who hides in the background.
They're ding-ding again, my friend.
What's that?
They're ding-ding-dinging again.
Oh, they're ding-ding. I'm pretty excited. A's pretty excited. We're going to continue to make great stuff for you guys. We are
feeling good as
we
hell.
are shacked up here for at least the next 2 weeks because we did somewhat interact with people even though we were social distance with masks. So we are staying at home, not leaving for the next 10 days. Does that give us 2 weeks?
Yeah, we have another... Today's the 2nd. We have until the 11th, and that will be 14 days. We're measuring our temperature twice a day. We're keeping in touch with all 5 people who were here. So far, so good. We've worn masks the whole time, and we're doing the best we can. But if you guys have a drink, I know we can't see you, but we're going to clink glasses. We're going to smooch one more time for everybody clinking in the room, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Please send any questions to info@emptyset.
And I will say that the 2 weeks lockdown, post-wedding lockdown, it's like the Shawshank Redemption, except instead of a bird, we have 2 tiny dogs. And instead of the sisters, we have each other. So it's way, way better than Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins.
Sir, we have a problem.
What's that?
I hadn't thought about.
Yes?
I'm pretty sure on this very special episode, we can't end with a dating game kiss.
Why not?
Because we're not dating right now. We may again in the future. Who knows? Maybe we'll do it together.
We're actually having this problem with Mount Fitzroy. Mount Fitzroy is with the editors of the publisher right now. And they, of course, you guys, if you've read my stuff, and most of you have, there's a shit ton of pop culture references. I'll pay the swear jar. Like, that's my bread and butter.
On your wedding announcement day.
Subtle pop culture references worked into dialogue, so you don't have to have seen Aliens. The dialogue seems perfectly normal. And the woman who is doing the copy editing, apparently, is our people, because she has caught every single line. And Mark, like, do we need to get permissions for this? Do we need to get permissions for this? I'm like, no, we don't need to get permissions for the Blues Brothers. It's fine. It's one line of dialogue for the Blues Brothers.
Okay, Monty.
Yeah.
You absolutely get experience points. But I will tell you, we are actually measuring our physical temperatures with the forehead thing twice a day.
We did it today.
We will do this. We're gonna do a newlywed game. We're gonna figure that out. We're probably going back to the dating game because we'll continue to date. We have Friday night date nights scheduled out for the rest of our lives.
So I think we give each other a big kiss.
Oh, goodness, the COVIDs.
Give each other a kiss and then a dating game kiss because we can still date them as a group.
True. And can I, because I've been saying it for 3 days, can you do the dating game kiss and I'll sing Good as Hell?
Yep.
All right, so.
Ready for one? And then.
I'll throw my hair back, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Feeling good as hell. Hair toss, check my nails. Baby, how